Okay, so let's get started. I think, yeah, we're over 55 people already now. So yeah, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco Bujan. I'm from CARSA, the coordinator company of this service on behalf of the ASME and the European Commission. I'm also here our colleagues from GOPACOM, Joan Lanfranco and Filippo, who Filippo is going to introduce you a little bit on the logistics and pragmatics of the use of this webinar tool, so we can all get the best out of it, and you can easily navigate through the system and participate the better way. So please, Filippo, if you want to introduce our participants today to a little couple of guides on how to use the web tool.
Yeah. Thank you, Francisco. Hello, everyone, and thank you to attend this second webinar on IPA4SME. I'm Filippo De Fabrizio, and I am part of COPACOM, a communication agency based in Brussels. And we deal with the institutional communication for the European institutions and agencies. Yeah, I'm going to spend a few words on the rules and the ways you have to interact with us during the webinar. And first of all, the webinar is recorded, so you can find the entire session on YouTube. After the webinar, we will upload the entire session on YouTube. In case of necessity, if you want to ask something, you can do after the session, but during the session, and to facilitate your comments, you can add your question in the question session. It's below the in your screen. You have polls, questions, and basically you should use this second function to post your question. And please notice that we will have the general question and answer section after at the end of this webinar. This means that we will collect your questions and we will answer at the very end one by one. This is pretty much it from my side. Looking forward to your questions. And so, Francisco, you can start the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Fabrizio. Yes, let's go to it. The idea of today's webinar is to guide you a little bit, just well, a few days, just a few weeks after our communication to you as beneficiaries of our this third cutoff date of IP4SME support services. And the idea is, well, we have not prepared a slide or a PPT on this, because the best way to introduce you on the proceedings, which we, under the circumstances, under the regulations that we have to follow, we have tried to make them as easy as possible, is to go directly to the guide for the beneficiaries, which we have prepared for you, and it's available on the EMS platform, the same platform that on which you submitted your application. So the best way to go through every point is just going through every single page of this guide and trying to reflect on the most important things that are said here. And that's what I'm going to try to do during this webinar. Okay, I'll try to point out the most important things, so you can well, listen to it, read it at the same time, and if you have some questions, as Fabrizio was saying, just type them on the question part of the tool, and we will go one by one after the presentation. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get to it. Well, there are there's an introduction here about the intention of the document. That's what I was saying. And as general conditions, here also described is that the use of EMS, I mean the platform that is the core instrument which for our communication and for the documents that we need to have in order to implement the service. Along with the email address that you can see here on the screen as well, which is called at IP4SME.eu. Okay, so this actually the common conditions are presented. The use of EMS, as I was saying, all support services will be managed through the electronic system, these electronic systems, and every single one of you who have been selected now has a my project section under my area in the EMS platform. First, you have my applications or my proposals, and now you will have a specific space on the platform for you, in which you log in and you go to my projects in the my area menu. You will see that you have a new space there where all we will go through it, all the documentation and information that is required from us and from you in order to implement the service. So as I was saying, once a beneficiary has been awarded with an IPv4 support service, either 1, 2, 3, or all together, a private space will be enabled in EMS. That this is already done. If you have not seen it yet, you can go and check that. Accessible by clicking on my projects, and there you will have to once you go there, you will see a typically one line, and you will see, because most of you have a one single, so to speak, so support that includes 1, 2, or 3 services. You will have to go to support documentation under action column on the right, and the next screen you will see there are 2 sections. Okay, on 2 sections on a menu on the left: support documentation and reimbursement. That this is the name we gave to those 2 sections. Support documentation is a place specifically designed for beneficiaries, for you to upload only the required documents that support the subsequent reimbursement, the justification. I'm here talking about more particularly about Service 2 and Service 3. So reimbursement of EPO fees and reimbursement of attorney's fees. It's also for Service 1, which is IP diagnostic, but when we talk about reimbursement, we're talking about this Service 2 and Service 3. So it's important also to know that within this support documentation section, which is accessible you can see it on the menu on the left, each service will have its part within the same page. Okay, you have as the first, if you have service 1, 2, and 3, you will have a section on the same page. You can just scroll down on it, and you will have a particular space there for each of the services you were granted with. Okay, and all the documentation that is required to be uploaded there, you will have to do it on the corresponding service. Indications on how to operate, the type of formats allowed, and other relevant guidance are also found there. You can read it, indications there. So the other, the second space there or section is reimbursement. Okay, this is a place or a page. When you click there, only designed for beneficiaries to provide the necessary financial information to receive the grant. For instance, we need to know which is your bank account and the IBAN and all this kind of information, that in order for us to make the transfer of the grant, okay, to you. since there's no reimbursement foreseen for IP for service one IP diagnostic, because this is just this is a free of course service to you that we manage with the expert, and we are the ones who pay the expert. This financial data that we're referring is requested for service 2 and service 3. Such financial information that we're talking about in this reimbursement section is the financial identification. I was saying the bank details, and also an acknowledge of receipt that we are asking you to provide us when we make the transfer of the money to you. We need to have an acknowledge of receipt signed from your side that's saying that effectively the money has gone to your bank account. We need to, and you can upload that signed letter also in a space there in that section of the EMS platform. Okay, so financial information. You will see the model. You can download the model. This is the typical model we use in European initiatives. When you indicate the bank information and you just sign that form, and then we have all that information for a bank transfer to you, and also the acknowledge of receipt once we have made the transfer of the grant, each transfer of the grant to you. And support documentation is only meant for the as the name says, is a document that support our decision to go or not go of the grant. Here we present just a screenshot of how it looks like in the EMS platform. So if you go there to my area, my projects, you can see that you will have a space there, and you go here on the right, go to support documentation. If you click there, you will come to the next page with two sections, as you can see here. Support documentation and reimbursement. It's in the support documentation. You have one part for service 1, one part for service 2, and one part for service 3, when you can upload the documents with indications and guidance here on how to proceed and whatever format, etc., etc. Okay, this is how it looks like. And the same for the reimbursement section. If you go to reimbursement, you will have service 2 and service 3, for instance, and you will have to type on a web form the information, but also we are asking you to download. You can download here the form, the financial identification form, and then upload it with information unsigned. Okay, and then you can afterwards also you can upload the acknowledge of receipt. This is AOR when the moment comes, when it's necessary. And the same for service 3. Okay, so this is it for as far as EMS is concerned. I mean, you keep your same user and password that you use for your application process. So every time you get there, so you can also even have a look at your application if you want to have it, you can download it. So every information that we are and you are is kept there in the platform as the process goes on. There's another aspect here, and it's in terms of impact and satisfaction survey, because this is due to the fact that this is an initiative promoted by the European Commission. We need to have information on some IP aspects and also about your satisfaction about the services that we are provided. Okay. And there's one important survey here or first assessment on what the situation of the intellectual property strategy or intellectual property actions that each company is performing in, is this IP4SME self-assessment that is required for all beneficiaries. Meaning that the support services that we provide to you cannot be activated, cannot start until you have completed this survey. Okay. Beneficiaries who have awarded multiple support services, as I was saying, if you have service 1, 2, and 3, you will only have to respond to this service to this survey once. Okay, it's just one time, and for every single one of you. Okay. The service which IPA4SME beneficiaries will be asked to respond before and after the completion of the service are presented here, because we have we are obliged to perform this. Okay, and this is a summary of the service and the time frame, and depending on whether you have service 1, 2, and 3 or all together. Okay, this, as you can see here, the first or the IPA4SME self-assessment survey has to be done by every one of you, regardless which service you have been awarded with, and prior to service activation. We will go to the concept of this service activation, which is has been a little bit confusing in the past, and we are, as you, we are also learning and try to explain this, which is very simple. But this means this is what you cannot start receiving anything or doing anything until you finish this. Okay, this IPA4SME self-assessment. Then 2-3 months after the service completion, service 1 in this case, there's a service 1 satisfaction survey. So the idea is that you tell us how this IP pre-diagnostic go. If you're satisfied with the results, if you're satisfied with the report that the expert issued to you, if you're satisfied with the process or the way you interacted with the expert and so on, because this is a kind of a brand new service that the Commission is implementing across Europe, and of course we are all interested in getting insights of how is it working and how it can be improved. Okay, and then for the rest of for all of us, for all of you, regardless of service, 2 months after service activation, 2, 3, or 1, there will be a IPA4SME impact survey, and then 36 months after service activation, which we call long-term impact survey, you will also be asked to answer this survey, which in most cases means that it would be after IPA4SME initiative has ended. Okay, but you will be contacted again via email to respond to this survey as well. So the idea is that we can, or the Commission can see the evolvement or the evolution or improvement that you have experienced thanks to the participation in this initiative. That's basically the idea. Here, this describes what is each one of its surveys, and this one will help us to gain us and the expert in case of service 1 general understanding of the knowledge level of beneficiaries regarding IP management and protection strategies. The results will remain completely anonymous, with the exception of Service 1 beneficiaries, for the ones who are going to run a IP diagnostic with service, whose service will be shared with their designated expert. Okay, we will go afterwards on the details on how to implementation of this Service 1, but for those who have not Service 1, the self-assessment questionnaire has been designed in an anonymous way, so you don't have to worry about anything. Service 1 satisfactory survey will cover the same topics as the self-assessment, but after some months. Okay, so the idea is to get insights on the evolution and the progress on that, the impact survey and the long-term survey. In the case of as I was saying, of beneficiaries, for the case of the long-term, will be contacted by the EU IPO most probably after this project has ended, to respond to this long-term impact assessment. So we can have a even further progress analysis on how you have benefited from these services. Well, this is a financial ID form I was referring to earlier. The one you can also download it from the official European Commission website here. This is the one we need to have for a bank transfer that we will do for you once everything is okay. And well, this is an instruction completing that. It's quite straightforward, no problem. and you can also send it to us to this email. But we actually prefer that everything is stored in the IMS platform, which is because it's easier, it's accessible via any device. We can access that information from securely from wherever we are in the office or not, and it's much simpler and it's stored in the same place. So we prefer that you do everything through the IMS platform. Okay, so this as a general introduction on some concepts, some mandatory things that we need or you need to do either right now at the beginning or later on the process, and the tools that you have. And if you have any questions, we can go through them afterwards. And let's go to Service 1 IP pre-diagnostic services implementation. As I was saying, we have tried to include also some pictures in a way that can be understood in a better way, and this concept of activating and how to proceed. So here, steps involved in activating and receiving IP service are following here. Okay. You in this case, the activation of service of Service 1 is basically completing the self-assessment questionnaire and getting in contact with the IP pre-diagnostic expert that is designated to you. Designated is a thing that can be done in two different ways depending on which country you are. So we go now there. Okay, so this is more or less the workflow would be: you do the self-assessment survey, an IP pre-diagnostic expert is designated to you, or you choose it. We will see that now, afterwards in a minute. And you will agree or schedule a meeting with the expert. You might have a first email or a first phone conversation in which you will agree on a date. The expert will also give you some advice or information on what he's going to need and what is the process all about. And then you will agree on a IP diagnostic on an in situ visit from the expert in your company, and then you will have to answer as I was saying a survey. So when after this meeting and pre-diagnostic, you will receive a report, but afterwards you will have to respond to the satisfaction survey I was referring to. Okay. So self-assessment, the beneficiary should complete the exercise following the communication of support award. This is the communication we made on the 23rd of December. The pre-diagnostic cannot begin until you have you have finished this, and the results of this will be sent to the expert designated. Designation of the IP expert, the pre-diagnostic expert. Once the IP response questionnaire has been completed, the self-assessment, as coordinating center will facilitate the initial contact between the beneficiary, between you and the designated expert. This process will differ slightly depending on the beneficiary's country of registration. If you are in Austria, Denmark, France, Germany, Netherlands, or in Spain, this person will be assigned by your national IP office. Okay, this is the way each country has agreed with the European Commission on proceeding, and there is a pool of experts in each country that have gone through a training and selection process. So there are a pool of experienced people there, and because of different reasons, size and other reasons in each country, is the IP office who's deciding who goes where. I mean, depend also it takes also of course a geographical and background experience sector based decision on that as well. So but this is the way it has been decided to go through, so we cannot say anything, either you or us as coordination center. Okay, so you have to wait to be contacted um, to tell you who's the one chosen for you. But in case you are in Greece, Italy, Ireland, Latvia, or Sweden, all these other countries, you will receive by us a list of the qualified experts that will operate in your country. So you will have a short profile bio CV of each of the persons that are available in your country, and you with the email address, and you decide based on that information who you want to work with. Okay, so these are two different approaches for this IP prerequisite expert designation. And then, of course, well, once you know who, you will start contacting with him or her in order to get a first talk, maybe, or just by email, and agreeing on the very IP pre-diagnostic session in your company. You will have to have a physical meeting with him or her. Okay. Oh, just to give you just a brief overview of what it consists of, there's initial analysis. The expert will analyze of course, previous to that, we will analyze the self-assessment survey that you filled in, and then prior to the visit, or the expert will analyze the competitive environment of your company. Of course, the survey responses, that's in order to gain an initial understanding of the IT situation in your company. Then visit and interview. The expert will visit you and conduct a in-depth interview, which should normally last between 2 or 4 hours, depending on well, the speed and the number of issues that are on the table to discuss. Okay, and maybe probably a visit to your company would be also helpful for him or her in order to understand how everything works. But that of course depends on you both to decide that, on how to implement that. But he or she will go to your company and carry out a visit and a deep interview. Okay, and then the final result will be delivered to you with a complete analysis report and explain the suggestions and what he or she has found out, and what are the best action plans for you in order to exploit and get the most out of your IP assets. Okay, and then we also a confirmation service or satisfaction survey that we need to have from you in order to confirm that this service has been, because we are the ones who pay the expert. We need to know that this service has been done, and of course we also need to know how did it go in order to pay the expert. So in that sense, we need to have your opinion on that as well. Okay, time frame. Well, this is also important because we may all see that 4 months is a lot of time, but some time goes very fast, and our experience is that the sooner we start with, not only with this service one, but with the other ones, the better, because 4 months go very, very fast. But in any case, the IP pre-diagnostic service should be completed, the whole process. We are already, as you might have noticed, that we are already moving and pushing this expert designation or assignation. In some cases, they already have done this, but you have 4 months to complete the whole process. 4 months counting from the day we informed you about your selection, which was 23rd of December last year. Okay, so this is for service one. If you have any questions, we can address them afterwards. Service two, this is a complete different story in terms of that this is a direct relation or between you and us as coordination center. There are third parties, but those third parties are strongly connected with you. And so we also tried here to describe a little bit the timeline, how the way we have designed this service implementation, and maybe the milestone or the most important phases that are involved. As you can see, the first one, as always, is the IPA4SME self-assessment. It's a mandatory requirement to be done here, the first one. Then, normally, if you have been awarded with Service 2, which is reimbursement of IPO fees, and because of the fact that we following our rules for implementation, we will only be allowed to reimburse costs that are incurred by you after the date of communication, so after the 23rd of December. Normally, what will come after that, and after the self-assessment survey, would be that you start moving or having or issuing IPO invoices, or sort of speaking. There's no IPO invoices. There are two ways that are normally we will see now which are the ones. Okay, but you would normally have something from the IPO that needs to be paid, and you will, of course, afterwards, or a minute or a second later, or whenever, pay that invoice or that cost that is given to you. And once you have these two things, you can then request a partial reimbursement to us via EMS. Okay, and this request of partial reimbursement, or request of a reimbursement to us, that is for us what is service activation. So in the moment you request the first reimbursement to us, that is for us service activation. And this is option 1. There's also an option 2, because for the service 2, which is this, which is as described here. Send it an invoice to calls at IP4SME.eu, but we prefer that we will go now in detail on this, but we prefer that you follow option 1, which is service activation by a request of reimbursement. Once you have a request of payment from the IPO and your payment, your proof of payment, and these things go together and consist or compound a request, and then we proceed with the payment to you, and you confirm the receipt of that reimbursement. That would be the process. So those are the activities documentation required in order to successfully complete the process. During this implementation, there is this, as I was saying, normal way of things going on. You follow that, you do the self-assessment, then you start working with the EPO online platform or whatever, and you will see you need to have pay already, of course, some fees that you already paid, and then you put those things together and request a payment to us. This process, during this thing, we as coordination center will be responsible for two basic elements. It's monitor the whole process, documents provided by you, basically on this request of partial reimbursement, and that the corresponding deadlines are respected. The deadlines are also 4 months. We will see that later on. Okay, and proceed with the payments to you, which is for you maybe the most important thing. So for us is just monitor how things go, see if you have any questions or you know, and make sure that when the deadlines are getting closer, that to inform those of you who have not started or you have not completed the process to make sure that you understand everything and proceed with the payment. So we have introduced this paragraph here because we found that were many. This is the third cutoff day, the cutoff, you know, pool of companies that we select. It's also important for you to know that we already have in IPA4SME like around 500 SMEs or across Europe. So there's a lot of people already in this process involved. And of course we understand that that is not, that is to understand a bit at the very beginning. Once you get into the process, it's not that difficult, but to understand this concept of activation and so on. So having completed the self-assessment is a mandatory requirement to start the process in our program. However, it does not mean the services have been activated. This is important from what we found in the past from many other SMEs. Okay. Service activation is a different action that comes after and which proceeding details are described. At the end of the day, service activation equals or is the same as requesting a payment with the proper and the correct documentation, which we will see now what it is. Okay. Subsequent reimbursement can only be done by IP coordination center when a valid service activation is completed. A stepwise approach that is self-assessment, service activation, reimbursement. It's very simple, but it's like this. And these three steps are consecutively exclusive, meaning that one cannot take place without having completed the previous. We cannot, of course, reimburse to you if you do not activate the service, which means you do not request a first payment from us, and this cannot be done if you are not, if you have not done the self-assessment survey. For you, the graphic below depicts the specific time frame established for you as companies selected in this third cutoff date. This is the award communication date, which was, as I was saying, 23rd December last year. You have 4 months for service activation. So you have 4 months to have an invoice and a proof of payment of that invoice to activate. There's a service activation extension. We'll see now what that means. It means that when you have been awarded with service 2 and service 3 at the same time, so you have both services, activating one of them automatically extends 4 months more for the other service. We'll see now that now, okay. And then you have a final request for reimbursement deadline. One concept here important is that what we talk about a first and a final, or what, because as you know, you have or we are going to reimburse to you in this service too. We're going to reimburse 75% of the invoice up to a maximum of 2,500 euros. Of course, you can have and this is a maximum you can opt for. Okay, you can, and the way we thought is, well, if you might, you might present to us tens or thousands of invoices plus proof of payments of amounts, little amounts, until you reach the maximum amount. And in order to avoid that, because that would be crazy, we have set up that you have two chances of reaching that maximum. You have a first one in which you might also get to a maximum in the first one. So in that case, you wouldn't need to go for a final or a second one. You would just have the first and final payment request. Or if in some cases, many cases, is that you cannot, of course, you cannot reach the maximum amount, because you might get an invoice from the EPO for 800 euros maybe, and we would pay 75% of that. But then you will have to, then it's important, this first one, so you activate the service, and then you will have a lot of more months until the end of 2021 to accumulate invoices that will, if you decide that this is a decision that you have to take, to accumulate invoices and proof of payment until you reach the maximum. If you can reach it with 1, 2, 3, you put them all together and you make a request with a, because you can make a request with putting together several invoices. That is the question. Okay, but the thing is that your request amounts a certain number, and in order to reach the maximum, you have two opportunities. But it's important, the first one again, because that means you activate. And once you activate, you can relax, and you have a lot of months until the end of 2021 to complete and opt for the maximum. I hope I made myself clear, because this is sometimes difficult to understand, but it's the way we had to do it, because as I was saying, if imagine 500 or 600 SMEs requesting reimbursement of 150 euros until 2000 something plus another service, and so it will be thousands and thousands of transfers, and we need to rationalize a little bit this. So communication, the dates when we notified to you that you were selected, 23rd of December, activation deadline, service activation deadline, limited for support service activation. If the support service has not been activated, it means if you have not provided a invoice plus proof of payment before that date, the support is rescinded unless an extension has been granted, of course, because you have you will see that what extension means. Service extension. Beneficiaries who will be given an additional 4 months to activate service 2 when they activate the corresponding service 3 support from the same cutoff date. You have been, as I was saying, you have been awarded with service 3 2 as well, and you, because the process went like that, and you activate the service 3, and automatically you will have 4 more months to activate service 2. And it will be the other way around when we have a look at reading service 3, it will be the other way as well. So this only applies when benefits have been granted both service 2 and 3 support from the same cutoff. Okay, so if you are one of those who have service 2 and service 3, please remember that. So service 2 will have 4 months extension if you activate service 3 somewhere here, and the other way around. If you activate service 2 somewhere before 23rd of April, and you have service 3 as well, you have automatically 4 more months for activate service 3. Yeah, to activate, so to make the first payment request, you have 2 options. Initial payment request, the first one, the service can be activated with the first request by uploading EMS either at least one valid IP attorney invoice and its corresponding proof of payment when the attorney does the online patent registration process on your behalf, or a valid IPA patent debit order submission confirmation when you make the online registration process. Yeah, this is the common or the normal process in which you have to go to the online patent registration process in the IPA, and that triggers the first fees to be paid, and then you have more. And we have foreseen that in case your attorney does this for you on your behalf, you can also provide to us the invoice from the attorney who's doing this job for you. And if you do it yourself, you will have to provide to us the debit order submission confirmation. That is the document that the online system provides to you when you are doing the process, and this is the one we need to have to confirm or to check that you're doing this. Or proof of application. The beneficiaries can also activate the service by sending a valid IP attorney invoice to the email that is written. As I was saying, we prefer that you follow the first one, but you can also, as we have put this here, you can also opt for go for the second option. Once activated, beneficiary will have until the end of the AP project, so it is the end of 2021 project, to make the second request. If a beneficiary does not activate the service 2 within, the support will be cancelled. Yeah, beneficiaries who have had a support service cancelled, you can reapply in the forthcoming, because as you know, we have several cutoff dates during this new year. You can either, if you have cancelled or we have cancelled your service, or if you have more patents, if you have a second or another patent, European patent in your portfolio, foreseen or in your plan for this year, you can also apply again to us for more support in another cutoff date. But you can, in case of a cancellation, you can do this without any penalization. We understand that sometimes time goes so fast and you don't have the resources or whatever, and you don't have physically the time for activate the service within 4 months. We have some cases, I mean, not all of them, of course, not many, but we have some cases. And in the case, you simply tell us. I mean, it's better that you can tell us, you write an email. We cancel, and you can resubmit or reapply to us in the forthcoming cut-off dates. Well, this is the same I was saying. The extension. Yeah, beneficiary requested to inform us in case they decide to stop pushing, as I was saying, is the patent application process without affecting the fees already reimbursed. Okay, you can also tell us that. And this is also a description or a graphic that is in order to help you to understand this. The time frame is conditioned by the services as well, as I was saying. Support service award communication, 23rd December. Have you been awarded with service 2 and 3 in the same cutoff date? No, only service 2 or 3. Then your deadline for activation either of those 2 services is 23rd of April this year. Yes, both service you have been awarded with service 2 and 3. Then have you activated one of those in any of them? No. Then deadline is 23rd. But if you activate one of those 2, then then you have 4 more months till the 23rd of August to activate the other one. So this is simply a way of describing what I was telling you about. The step-by-step process is the same. Self-assessment as the first step, mandatory step to start everything. And remember that that doesn't mean that you activated the service. And then EPO patent registration. This, as I was telling you, there can be 2 situations. The EPO patent registration is made by an IP attorney on behalf of you, of the beneficiary company. Then what we need is a valid IP attorney invoice. What is a valid IP attorney invoice for us? Valid must be dated after the date of communication, so after the date of 23rd of December, and it has to have the name of the patent attorney and the patent application process. It has to be included there as well. Okay. So the patent attorney has to be an attorney that has to be registered, has to be identified in the list of professional representatives that in the EPO database, and the EPO debit order number. As well as the EPO service code that was for which the attorney was doing this work for you. Okay, these are the EPO codes, fees codes that are eligible for us to reimburse. Okay, you can see there. Of course, there's a filing fee if you do not do it online, but normally people do it online, and these are the other fees that are eligible for us. And this is important to facilitate the reimbursement process. This information should be included. I know, and we all know that of course your relation with the patent attorney or the patent attorney invoice and so on are normally in your mother tongue language, in your the language of your country. But here we ask, in order to be fast and to avoid problems, and it's a simple thing of including a paragraph in the concept description of the invoice in English for us to to go faster and to avoid hint and forth of asking what this means, to include this information on the invoice in English. So the other things can of course be in your language, but if you I'm sure if you talk to your attorney, it can be no problem to include this little paragraph in English, in which all the information that we need to have in order to reimburse it's concentrated there, and is everything okay? It's fine for us. So this is case 1, or for case 1 is that the IP attorney does this patent registration process for you on your behalf, and of course he or she issues an invoice to you, and you provide us with the invoice and the proof of payment of that, and for us it's okay. The other alternative is that you do it yourself, in which case what we need is the IPO debit order submission confirmation. Beneficiaries can only be reimbursed once they have the PDF document of the debit order submission confirmation from the IPO online filing software logged by the beneficiary, issued after the date of communication of 23rd of December. It is an important notice here for those who don't know, is to be aware that to save or print the confirmation, this confirmation that we need immediately after submitting the online debit order in the online filing system, as you will not be able to do this later. The system seems not to support a later access once you've done this process. Okay, you have to print or to save that or to download this confirmation, this PDF, when you're doing it online there. Okay, you cannot go after and download that document. So please, if you do this, please be aware of this thing. This was a problem or whatever, but it is the way it has been configured. So to qualify for reimbursement, valid IPO debit order submission confirmation must include the following: the patent application process, and the debit order and the IPO service code, and the proof of payment. Of course, we need a proof of payment in either in either way. No, in the way of the way that a patent attorney does this job for you. And in case you do it yourself. This debit order is good enough for us. Okay. Of course, the date of payment must be after the date of communication as well. Of course, if the invoice of the attorney is after 23rd December, the date of payment would be after as well. Well, this is the same. You will do the request partial reimbursement. And as I was saying, it is the same for Service 3. Service 2 reimbursements are limited to requests. For this reason, beneficiaries may submit as many invoices and proof of payment or debit order confirmation as they have available for each request. You can, collect whatever, 2, 3, 4, 5 invoices plus their corresponding proof of payment in one request. You can download, you can upload them all together in a zip. You will see that indications on the MS pattern. You can do it either on a zip or a compressed file together, or you can compound a long PDF with, not that long, a PDF with all the invoices and proof of payment. The important thing here is that this has to be related to the same patent process. Okay, this is very important because we also found that some companies that are either big or they do a lot of they have a lot of IPO patent process running in parallel. They just put together a mix of documents and invoices from attorneys or whatever for different patents, and this is not the way. We in each you've been selected to, in this case, for one single, you have to provide documentation for one single IPO European patent process. Okay, but in any case, you are limited to 2 requests. That's why I was saying that it's your decision. You can, once you have one, once you can request the first one, to do it as soon as possible, so you then can relax and wait more months you have more months to do the second and final one, to opt for the maximum. Confirmation of reimbursement. Once the reimbursement has been received from us, you will need to upload a signed confirmation that there's a model there. This is the acknowledged receipt I was telling you about before. As already mentioned, depending on the way IPO patent registrations are made, likely different process has been to follow. Here in this picture, we tried to depict, show what we described in before in written. Okay. Either if has the online IPO patent registration been made by your IP attorney? If no, what happens? If yes, what you need to prepare and upload in the EMS platform. It's I think we tried our best to describe this in an understandable way. But if you follow, I think it's quite easy to understand. But as you can see, there's always a pair of invoice plus proof of payment. This compounds, this builds a request for us. Okay. So there's not a matter of only providing to us the invoices. I mean, many people do it and forget, and so, but it's something that you need to remember very clearly. Invoice and proof of payment all together. So if you follow this, I think it might be easy to or easier to understand. And the same for service 3. I mean, it's more or less the same philosophy. In this case, you are not what we reimburse, as you know, is the IP attorney fees, the work of the IP attorney in studying, doing document revision or whatever you need to to prepare a patent. And but the philosophy, as I was saying, is the same. You have to do first a self-assessment. If you have service 2 as well at the same time, you only have to do it once, as we already said as well. The normal process would be that you will have, because the attorney will be working with you, you will have an invoice, you pay it, and you put this together and request a first or a final if you go for the maximum partial reimbursement. Okay, and then confirmation of that we have paid to you the reimbursement. Well, this is the same explanations as I was describing for service 2. These 3 processes or these steps are consecutively exclusive. The deadlines are also the same. If you only have service 3, you have 4 months. But if you have service 2 as well, and you activate service 2, you have 4 more months for this service 3. This is the same. This is the same logic. Yeah, that is also the same logic. The process, well, the process is also the same. The difference is that you don't have an IPO debit order confirmation document, or you don't have an attorney invoice related to working on the IPO online platform, but you have an invoice from the attorney working with you and for you on preparing the European patent and doing all the preparations and the documentation you need to do that. So what we need is an invoice from your IP attorney that it must include the name, of course, of the IP attorney, who has to be entitled to work in front of the IEPO, has to be in the database, describing the patent application process, the reference number, title of invention or invention, or what is that is going to be protected in that patent. We need to have that information as well. And if you have a patent application number, of course, included there. So all the information we need is in the invoice. Or in case, just in case that, let's imagine that the work of the attorney has finished, and you have both, or he has advised to you that no patent needs or would be relevant or needs, because for whatever reason to be registered, we will need to have a statement regarding this decision to discontinue patent application process from the IP attorney. Okay. As we can see, it's been established that each granted service 3 is the same for service 2. It will be for a unique European patent application process. Again, we've been having also some companies that provide to us invoices from IP attorneys that mix different patent processes, and this is something that we need to avoid, and because it will not be accepted anymore, because you can see You can imagine this is crazy. So we ask you to please, in this case, for the case of IP4SME, ask your IP attorney to issue invoices related, at least in this case. You can have others. If you have 14 patents, you can have 13, the way you want, but this very one you choose for us, please put them just one in one invoice. Okay. Yeah, in other words, when we select you as a beneficiary, it's just for one single European patent. The company has several patent application processes in the pipeline. I mean, I was referring to things that are going on, but you have in the future, they might submit several IP applications. You can submit more applications in the same cut of date or in future ones. But the key univocal correspondence to be reminded is that one patent application process in the EPO means one IP4SME application, in which you can ask for Series 2, Series 3, or both series at the same time. So valid IP attorney's invoices will only those which reflect work done in relation with the same patent application process. That is important. I was telling you about this. And to facilitate all of this, again, we ask you to please incorporate or include a paragraph in English in which you provide all this information together, and then everything will be found easier for everyone. You can have the rest of the document in your language, but we ask you to provide to us this part in English. Proof of payment, again, we need to, everything goes together in order to request partial reimbursement. And the same, you have two opportunities to opt for the maximum. You can you upload a single PDF or a zip file altogether, depending on how many invoices and proof of payment you have collected to that very moment, and then confirmation of reimbursement from our side. And finally, important rules for payment requests, and this is something that was already advancing to you, and that this is a consequence of working already with hundreds of SMEs across Europe, and different things are going on, and so that we had to determine this. So the key basic, again, IP4SME univocal correspondence is that one patent application process in the EPO is related to one IP application service, 2, 3, or both services at the same time. Okay, so you don't have to mix different patents in the documents that we work in, that you are working with us. Therefore, documents provided by you to claim partial reimbursement must only refer to and contain information about one single patent. No documentation containing information about several patents will be allowed. This will disqualify the whole payment request. Okay, we're not going to look at anything else or do anything. If we see that there are mix of different patents in documents, in invoices, and whatever, we will just stop looking at that and disqualify that. Okay, and say that this is not valid. Furthermore, documentation for payment request must follow the indications described here that we are going through. Otherwise, it will be disqualified and marked as invalid in the EMS platform. The way we proceed is that once you upload the documentation, we check it, and if it's correct, we will proceed with the payment. And if it's correct, we will mark in the EMS platform. We will check that it's invalid, and you will, next time you access the platform, you will see that has been labeled as invalid. Okay, so therefore, we as coordination center will not inform about validation or reasons for invalidation of the documents you provide. Everything is quite clear, and so you are asked to follow up on this periodically in the EMS platform. If you don't see a invalid mark or label, it probably means that it's correct, and you will see a transfer in the coming days or weeks. Okay, so beneficiaries have to follow up on this particular image or in your bank account based on a clear approach. If the documentation is valid, reimbursement will occur at earliest convenience, which we have set up more or less every every beginning of the month. Okay. Or if the documentation is not valid, you will have to well, you have of course more chances, or you can upload again the proper documentation following the guide for beneficiaries for the next time. Okay, so once you provide one documentation, if it's not valid, we label it as invalid, and you can go again and upload the good ones. This is very important because we get into a number of companies that that is impossible to do it otherwise. Okay, we're trying to look for ways of managing this, but for the moment, this is the way. Because as you can imagine, we've been experiencing real troubles with people that just because it's easier, to get 50 pages of invoices of 25 patents all together in different, even different currencies, and that is not euros, and you simply put it there and send it to us. Let us be the ones to figure out which is the where the document, which, if it's correct, not correct, what amount is the correct one. So please, if you do this, we will not analyze that anymore. There's also, as I was saying, that you can ask for a cancellation. You can write an email to that host at IPA4SME.eu email address, and we will provide you with a simple letter template, and you just have to put your name there or sign and get back to us. And in order to formalize the cancellation, it's just a administrative way of confirming that you want to cancel it. And we have a template there. But normally, if you tell us, we will send you the letter, and you only have to sign. There's also a model statement for this discontinuation of patent application process. This is the one I was referring when maybe because the patent attorney may together with you might decide that it's no longer meaning of pursuing a European patent because whatever reason, and you can it's fine for us. It's also an invoice, a service given by an IPA attorney that ended as a result of this is also fine for us. We can reimburse that service, but you need to inform us about this, and this is the way to do it. Okay, and this is the cancellation model, but in case you need to cancel, we will just inform us, and we will provide you with a word letter to sign. And this is more or less everything. It's simply a matter of reading very carefully this guide, which we have tried, as I was saying, to explain, given the difficulties and the regulation, boundaries and everything we have to comply with, in order to make it as simple as possible. But in any case, if you have questions, we can address them now, or you can also write an email to this email address, calls and ask for clarification. Okay, so now it's time to go to the questions.
Yes, we have grouped a few questions that have been posed. So I will start with questions regarding the pre-assessment. So the first one says whether they will receive the results of this before they can continue the process.
Yes. Well, of course. If you are the one who fills in the questionnaire, you already have the answer. It's a very simple, quite straightforward questionnaire. But in any case, the result of that questionnaire will be sent by email on a PDF format to the expert and to you as well. You can have it. You can ask for it, or if you want, or or you can when we communicate to the expert via email, we can put you in copy with the result of that. I mean, either way, of course, you can have access. Everyone can have access to that.
And then, okay, another user has completed the self-assessment stage, but is asking whether companies located in the UK are still eligible.
Yeah, for the moment, yes. I mean, and there is no since for the moment, and by the way, in the moment which you were selected, Brexit was not has not happened yet. You're perfectly in for the moment. I mean, the other things are the ones who will come later or on later stages. But for the moment, since it has not happened yet. We shall continue as normally.
The next question regards, for instance, the user says that it seems not possible to apply for a patent in case the IP is created as a software solution. So it's asking whether IPA4SME is strictly limited to patents.
Yes, that's a good question, and the answer is yes. We are strictly limited to patents, and strictly limited to European patents. So we know that there are other ways of protection, but those other ways of protection are not considered within this initiative. So patents are the only ones. Yeah. Actually, well, that is service one IP prayer diagnostic is meant to do this, to give you an insight of what other, if there are, or what IP protection mechanisms are the best one for you. It can be the result can be an European patent or it can be any other. But in case it's another European patent, there are ways to finance that through us. But if it's not an European patent, this is not eligible for us. It's simple as that.
The next question is whether EPO submissions requested for reimbursement should be submitted after the 23rd of December should be reimbursed.
Yes, only the ones done after 23rd of December. Yeah. If you done this 22nd, it's not eligible for us. This is these are the rules that we've been given by the European Commission, the rules for implementation of this initiative, and this is very clear. There's no. The good thing about this is that because it's a date, it's a date. If it's earlier, it's not eligible. If it's after, it's eligible. Yeah.
There's a question for Service 1, whether is it possible to get an expert other than the one offered by IPA4SME, and more specifically, if it's possible to get an expert outside the country of the applicant.
Well, yeah, the answer is no. Yeah, I know that it's very strict or whatever, but this is the way the whole process has been configured by the European Commission in cooperation with the countries. So these people have been trained and following the specific base. I mean, they have their own, of course, background experience on IP related issues, and most of them are attorneys and so on. But they also have follow a specific methodology to provide this service. So these are the ones who know how to do it, and these are the ones that are available to use. You can use them if you want, and you cannot use it if you don't want to. But this is you cannot. There's, I mean, what you can, what could have been done, or maybe if there's time, you can ask these guys or these people that you want to work with to contact the national APA office and in order to eventually become part of the pool of experts for this. But for the moment, if it's not in our pool, cannot be used.
Another user is asking whether they will receive automatically a phase 1 expert.
Well, depending on the country where he or she is. If, as I said, there are some countries in which is the IP office who decides which, and they will contact you as beneficiary, as company directly. And in other cases, is you have to choose from 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and we will contact you with an email if we have not done it yet, with a brief profile or description of this person and these persons, and you have to choose which one you want. Yeah. So depending on the country where you are. Yes.
Next question: is there a maximum per patent attorney invoice, and is there a maximum per request other than the total grant?
No. There's no maximum. You can for the IP attorney, you have a no. We will reimburse 50% of the invoice in each request, up to a maximum of 2,000 euros. So there's no maximum. You can present a 1 million euro invoice. We will pay 2,000. It's no maximum. You can, you can present an invoice for whatever amount. We will always pay you 50% of that, up to a maximum of 2,000. So there's no maximum.
Okay. Next question. Once service 2 and 3 are activated by submitting expenses for reimbursement, until when can they submit the second request of reimbursement?
The second, good question.
Until the end of IPA4SME project.
Yeah. It says that, but in some of the pictures we've seen, we have put the date is 31st December 2021. So it's the end of next year.
Okay.
Okay, so there's plenty of time.
And can you please clarify partial reimbursement? I think we already talked about that in the previous one. Yes, the rest of questions have to do with technical issues. So we propose that the support team of IPA4SME will contact those users directly, since are very particular questions which are not strictly related to the webinar. But
okay.
Just to say that if there are unanswered questions, they will be particularly individually replied by email by IPA4SME team.
Yeah. I mean, this is also thanks. That's important to again say that we are at your disposal for any questions you may have, and you can simply drop us an email to that calls@ip4sme.eu email address, and we will reply to you. We've been doing this normally within 1-2 days, so bearing in mind how many of you are already within in our process, I think it's quite fine. Sometimes it might delay a little bit, but you can ask anything you want, except to check if this. I mean, if it's except if to check an invoice, whether send it. Remember, imagine having 500 invoices. People saying, check this if this invoice correct or not. We cannot do that, please. So you simply follow this. If you follow this, it will probably be fine. Okay. Of course, if there can be always some special cases or exceptions, but those are the only ones who we're going to reply. And except for that, we can assist you with anything. If there's a problem with the platform, or whatever other things, notifying the IP office if you want to talk to them or whatever, we are here to assist you. But this is the main message. You can always drop us an email. We've been doing this since the very beginning, and it works fine.
Excellent. Before passing on to you for closing, Francisco, I just wanted to remind that IPA4SME is also on social media. So you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn with the handle IPA4SME. So besides the email support, you can also contact us over there. And from the GOPA side, we thank you for your attendance. So I just pass it on to Francisco for closing.
Okay, thanks, John. Thanks, Copa. yeah, on behalf of Carsa and of myself, I thank you for everyone for attending this morning. I hope that we or I've been able to convey clearly what we need. Um, um, it's as I said, we are disposal to any questions. You just simply read carefully this not too long document of 22 pages, including front page and last page, and so it's not quite complicated. Um, and yeah, I hope we all get the most out of it, and just we are at your disposal for any further questions. So again, thank you for attending on Friday, and we'll keep in touch. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A good day to everyone. Okay. Bye. Bye.
Bye.